What's cracking, guys? Today I am making a little guide on Windwalker Monk for the first season of the new X Pack, and I'm going to go over talents, some macros that I use very often in arenas, and some good strategies and a few different comps you could play. So we're going to start off with the talent build, and this is the talent setup that I run for most games. Well, all games right now actually, playing Boomy Windwalker Monk. And these talents right here, pretty standard. I mean, I like a lot of monks play different builds. Some go Ascension and don't use Fist, but I like Fist a whole lot, especially with the legendary that I'm running. The haste from Celestial, which drops off of the ninth boss of Raid, Stone Legion. Yeah, I would definitely recommend getting that. It made a big I went up a lot in damage, and it made a big difference in my overall damage in games. And yeah, so that's a pretty good setup. I use that, and it goes really well with Alpha Tiger, the haste buff from Tiger Palm. And yeah, so you pretty much just go in and you get a huge opener with Fist of Fury. So, and as far as these talents go, this one's situational. I never really use Inner Strength. I think some people do sometimes, but right now with the one-shot meta, I really kind of lean towards Diffuse Magic or Dampen, depending on what I face against. I'll give you an example. I don't even use Diffuse Magic versus like an Affliction Warlock Shadow Priest team because the reverse normally one-shots me. So I take Dampen a lot more often than I take Diffuse right now, unless it's against like another Boomy Monk team or something like that. Dance of Chai Chi is insane right now. I would probably always run it. Hit combo's okay for the bigger fists, but as far as standard, I think it's just nice to have the extra burst from this time. This procs at some good times. It feels like sometimes, like when I'm trying to land a kill, it'll just proc and it'll give me like the fat spinning crane kick. Chi Wave I like using, especially with the haste build, because okay, and let me start by saying Chi Wave. It's good if you know when to not press it. So if you're if you're just starting playing Monk in Arena, I would probably recommend just using Eye of the Tiger for the safe thing. That way you don't throw a Chi Wave out and break up Paralysis or something like that. And that's pretty good. I don't think Serenity is really a thing anymore. If it is, it's normally only against mage teams. But I would just get used to using Whirlwind Dragon Punch. It does pretty good. And I think that kind of is it for the talents. The PvP talents. By the way, I always use Turbo Fist and Alpha Tiger, and then I'll swap out Grapple Weapon for reverse harms against teams that don't have a rogue or a red on them or warrior. And my Covenant, by the way, as you can see, I'm Kyrian, and I would definitely strongly recommend going Kyrian for the insane class ability, the Weapon of Order, which is really good for your burst. It goes really well with the Zwin Tiger burst. They're on the same cooldown, and it gives you the nice mastery and reduced G cost and stuff. It's really strong right now. And like I said, it just pairs really well with the Zwin on your bursts. And oh yeah, so like I said, Kyrian definitely all the way. I was Necrolord, which sucked really bad in arenas. It is basically useless. The potion from Kyrian's also really nice. This 20% potion that removes, and I mean, come on, you got a little Swolken following you around. It's pretty sweet.
The steward's job is never done.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the macros now that I use commonly in arenas, and a lot of these, there's a lot of different ways to set these up, but most of this is just what you're comfortable using. So we're gonna go to my macros. Okay, so and I'm sure you noticed that I have all these, you know, all my abilities macroed, and that's because I have, okay, so here's an example. Tiger Palm, I have pet attack in it, so that whenever I swap targets, if I do swap targets, my pet instantly swaps with me, because the UI for the pet, like the intelligence that it has already, is kind of slow, so if you swap targets, it takes a minute for it to come over. This is instant. And your paralysis macros, I just have a cancel spinning crane kick in them. That way, if I'm spinning crane kick, I'm going to get CC off, I don't break it, and it gets off faster. Especially when you have your Storm Earth out. So, yeah. And, oh yeah, so for these, I have Arena 1, 2, and 3 macros, which is just how I like to have it set up, and I just have them as alt 1, 2, 3. It's super easy for me to hit on my hand, so when I'm facing somebody, I don't have to swap targets or do anything like that. I also have a focus macro for when I'm doing 2s or just when I I don't know. I normally have a focus set, and then sometimes if I don't have the focus set, then I'll just use this as a backup. And yeah, so this is the same thing, pet attack for my judo kick and all that. And I don't use this macro anymore, the focus, storm, earth, and fire. I mean, it's probably alright for 2s, but right now it's all burst meta. So, and a focus, the 1, 2, 3 kick for melee isn't as important as it is for a ranged class, like a shaman or a lock or a mage, but I still like to have it. I actually don't even use these keybinds that often, to be honest. Normally I'm using my focus kick or my single target kick. And those I don't have any modifiers in them other than who they're on. Dispel macros are nice to have. I wouldn't sweat it too much though. I mean, you can dispel Devouring Plague, which is nice, but you are dumping 20 energy for it. So I use it sometimes, like when we're falling behind to kind of just help the healer or we're running or something like that. But it's not like dispelling Hex or anything like that. That's super important. And I think that's... Oh, the disarm macros are really nice to have too, especially for whenever you're playing 2s and they're going on your healer or something. So I would definitely recommend having those. Okay, so now we're going to move on to... I'm going to go to a target dummy. If I can find it. I think they're up here somewhere. Yeah, here they are, here they are. And I'm going to show you a pretty good little burst for open. Here, I'll pull up my details. This is just a good little damage output to get in the beginning of a match or whenever you set up a good window with CC and stuff with your boomkin. So I always use my Earth Ellie. I get my Zwin out for the damage buff. I go in, Tiger Palm, that's basically 5, and then you Fist of Fury on everybody. And I always cancel my Fist a little bit early because you don't want to overdo Fist too much because you're wasting energy that you could be using on getting out another Fist in a second. And while your Storm, Earth, and Fire is Fist of Furying, they'll keep casting Fist of Fury whenever you start. Like whenever you do a Rising Sun kick and a Judo and a Whirling Dragon punch, they'll keep doing your other stuff. So, see, like 6k DPS, that wasn't... I mean, it's not insane or anything, but like against... If they're all stacked and stuff, that's a lot of damage to put on them, especially if you get a good sweep off in the open. Oh, another macro that I forgot to tell y'all about. This Touch of Death macro. This one is nice for whenever... So a lot of times you'll notice in arenas when you're going to finish a kill that there's a hard time, like you'll be trying to hit it and you'll accidentally tap target or something like that. This macro makes it to where it targets the last person you were hitting, which is normally the person that you're going on. And it cancels your Rushing Jade and your Spinning Crank Kick just in case you had to use a Paralysis. And I know, and I have this in the Paralysis macro too, but just as like a triple safe to cancel your Spinning Crank Kick, and then your target exists. Touch of Death. Really useful. I have the same kind of setup for Touch of Karma too, actually. And in my Touch of Karma macro, I have a cancel or a Hand of Protection, so that if somebody bops me right before I Karma, that I could get my Karma on. And not only that, but just during a match, sometimes you want to get your Hand of Protection off versus a mage or something, so you could just like not target anybody and use it to cancel your... Yeah, to do that basically. And so now I'm going to go over some comps that you should play as a Windwalker Monk if you're trying to get started in 3Ds or 2s. In 2s, I play mostly, my rating's not that high yet on this tune. I haven't got a chance to play a whole lot yet. I'm still kind of, I didn't play beta at all, so I'm still kind of learning the season and meeting some people to play with. But, yeah, so 3s, I really like playing Boomkin Windwalker. It's a really fun comp, and there's a lot of Boomkins right now, so it's super easy to find them. And the healer's not as, like... The healer's important, but it's not as important to find a specific healer. Like, you don't need a Resto Shaman or a Holy Pally or anything specific. You could really kind of run with whatever healer you want, besides a Mistweaver. Well, I mean, you could probably run with a Mistweaver too. I haven't yet. There isn't many of them running around anyway, though. And if your Boomy's good, it's a really fun comp to play. And other than that, I mean, pretty much every comp that's ever had a Windwalker in it's really good right now. Windwalker DH I think is okay. I haven't even played it yet because there's not many DHs running around because they're not very strong right now in arenas. Still alright though. I know Windwalker Arms Warrior is kind of cheese too. They just do a bunch of damn. And I like playing The Walking Dead also, which is Windwalker DK, preferably Archsham or Holy Pally. And that's really fun too, because you like, so against whenever you're playing a comp like that, you just get your Death Knight to grip in the healer, and then you'll triple stun everybody, and you do that little burst that I just showed y'all, and it's a really nice setup. I'm gonna insert some gameplay from some 3s matches now, and I'll show y'all some clips, and hopefully this helps. See ya.